Hey, good Monday morning. Monday morning, yeah. And today is December 21st, the first day of winter. And I think it sounds like we may have a white Christmas. I don't know. Again, that's just early weather forecasters um, looking at the radar and everything. But I'm not a weather person, so we'll find out when we wake up Friday morning. But Christmas is around the corner and it's an exciting time. Our grandkids are so excited for Christmas. And if you have kids or grandkids, you know the excitement that is happening in your homes or at least in your extended home. But today I want to talk about those families that aren't going to have a Merry Christmas. And I'm talking about families that are just struggling. Life is hard right now. There are families that are grieving over loss of loved one. I mean, back in my home community, I saw where uh, one of our family friends lost a loved one on Friday to COVID-19. And there are many others throughout the state of West Virginia who have lost loved ones to COVID-19, and others have lost their battle to cancer. Others are finding themselves without a job and they're just trying to get through life right now. But today I want to focus on how do we get through the holidays when we're having a difficult time. And I mean, it's a question everybody asks, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. If you need to talk to somebody and you do not want to reach out to a local preacher, or you don't want to reach out to a family member, coworker, classmate, if you want to reach out to somebody and you want to make keep it anonymous, you can call 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-TALK. Yeah. And give them a call. They'll talk to you. Okay. But this is the most difficult time of the year. In the midst of the excitement and the happiness, people are struggling. Some folks are going through a crisis, some are hurting, some are grieving. And everyone that's watching this devotion, you've experienced loss. May not have been 2020, but you know what loss is like. You know what grief is like. Everyone knows what it's like to feel that pain. And that's something that can bring us all together. Some lost their jobs, others are struggling because life is just too hard right now. With the holidays upon us, Christmas right at the end of this week, it seems that the pain, the worry, the anxiety, the fear is a little more intense. Maybe we're more sensitive to those feelings because of how the year 2020 has turned out. I don't know. Maybe those feelings are there because of big changes that happened in our own families over the year. Maybe there's an empty chair where a loved one once sat. Maybe it's a favorite holiday treat that's going to remind you of a family friend or that family member who won't be there to enjoy it with you. Could be a hot chocolate, a holiday Christmas song, a Christmas movie, even Christmas ornament on your tree. All these things can trigger emotions of grief and loss, no matter how long it's been. This week is going to be difficult for all those that's watching this devotion and you're struggling in life right now. That feeling of grief will cause moments of tears. It's going to cause moments of heartache, sadness. I know adults, I do. I know adults because they confided in me who will hide their pain and they will go and take a shower and they will spend time crying in their shower because they don't want family members or friends to know how much they're hurting. And I was even asked recently why grief was so hard, especially at Christmas. Why is grief so hard, especially at Christmas? Grief reminds us of a love and a life that made an impact in our lives and in our homes and even in our communities. My first experience with grief was huge. I was 7 years old and I was experiencing the holidays like never before. It was the first Christmas without my dad. He died on Palm Sunday of that year. And as a child, I knew life has changed in a big way. I mean, that first Easter without my dad, he wasn't there to take us to church. Dad wasn't there when I turned 7 years old, and the birthday celebration wasn't the same. The laughter on our home wasn't as often. There seemed to be a darkness over every celebration when our family came together because, again, my dad wasn't there. Mom would cry while making her Christmas fudge or her turkey stuffing because she knew that Dad wouldn't be with us that holiday season. And when I would hear the song, The Little Drummer Boy, oh my goodness, I would turn it off because Dad would play that song and we would act like we were playing the drums. He would put me on his knee and it would end in so much laughter and giggling from this boy, this little boy. And when I would hear that song, I would turn it off because the laughter and the giggling and the fun was gone. Most of our Christmas traditions brought tears, and truly life was difficult for our family. As I grew older, I studied psychology. I learned how to cope with my own grief. That meant dealing with the grief of my 6-year-old self. Loss has always been a part of my life. Grandparents, parents, my oldest brother, classmates, friends, cousins, uncles, aunts, I've lost them all. And every grief and every loss is different. But the one thing that holds it all together is that it hurts. It still hurts. Over the years, I tried to help others deal with the pain that they were going through. But again, grief will look different for all of us. I learned that no matter how long it's been, it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. The feeling of loss and pain can come back and hit us hard when we least expect it, especially at Christmas. Through my faith and the study of the Bible, I learned that Jesus knew what grief was like. Jesus knew how grief felt on this side of heaven. Jesus saw firsthand the tears of a grieving community when his friend Lazarus died. In the Gospel of John, it tells us that Jesus wept. And that word, those two words, Jesus wept, it meant that it was a deep, hard cry. He cried because he witnessed the agony of grief on a family, on two sisters. And when Jesus saw that, he was moved to tears. Why? Well, Jesus knew where Lazarus was. He would have been celebrating for Lazarus. Lazarus was in eternity, never to experience pain again. But Jesus saw Mary and Martha weeping, and the Jews who gathered with them weeping. And the Bible says that Jesus wept. But Jesus made a proclamation to the grieving sisters. He said to them, I am the resurrection and the life. Though the one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. And this knowledge allowed me to approach the holidays with a renewed faith and with fresh eyes. Christmas now wasn't about me. It wasn't about any of us. It's about celebrating the birth of Jesus. And by recognizing that, I was allowed to bring traditions back into my life that brought now joy. And now it brings laughter. Now it brings smiles. Now those traditions warm my heart, where previously it just continued to cause pain, tears, sadness. During the holidays, our ornaments, they bring hope and renewed memories of family traditions and stories that can be passed down to our kids, and now in my own life, my grandkids. The Little Drummer Boy, when it comes on, it brings a big smile to my face. I crank it up. And I remember drumming with my dad. Instead of tears, that moment brings a big smile to my face and warms my heart. It takes me back to those moments on Fairview Street in Piedmont, West Virginia, where Dad would put me on his knee and we would play and drum to the song Little Drummer Boy. Fudge brings back memories of my mom and the sacrifices she made to give us some of the best Christmas memories. That first Christmas without a loved one is always the most difficult. And if you're going through that this year, here are some tips that can help. First of all, talk to a trusted friend or relative. Express your hurt, express your pain. And if you feel like you can't talk to a friend or relative, then seek out a professional. Allow them to help you through those difficult times. And again, the phone number, if you want to talk to somebody anonymously, you can call 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-TALK. Another thing that helps is spend time in prayer. Take breaks and allow yourself to cry if you need to. If there are certain traditions that are too difficult, you can always create new traditions. Some families find it helpful to purchase gifts on behalf of their loved one, and they give them to an organization or to a family in need. Some families started traditions of lighting a candle in memory of a loved one and giving family members opportunity to share a favorite memory or a favorite story. Some families look for ways to do good in their community. They'll volunteer or donate to local animal shelters, senior centers, veterans organizations, whatever they can to carry on the memory of their loved one. Baking cookies and delivering them to shut-ins in the community is another way that families work together to, again, to keep the memory of their loved one alive. Families discover new traditions of giving back and honoring their loved one. New rituals and traditions can help make the holiday a source of joy and something to look forward to rather than something to dread. In the book of Revelation, John wrote, God will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, no more mourning, no more crying, no more pain, for the old order of things has passed away. Grief is real, and it impacts all of us. But you know what else is real? The presence of Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is. Christ who understands our grief, Christ who knows our loneliness, Christ who knows and feels that loss, Christ who carries our anxiety, Christ who knows how bad you're worrying because you don't know how you're going to make it through the remainder of this year. Christ is with us, and he's going to get us through it. The same Christ that shows compassion and mercy to all of us is the same Christ that's going to fill our lives with hope, with peace, with joy, and with love. If we do things right and take our time during the holiday season, we can allow Christmas to go from the most difficult time of the year to the most wonderful time of the year. And I pray that this season of Christmas, God's healing presence and God's comfort will walk with us on this journey. I pray that you have a Merry Christmas, and may the new year bring healing and hope to our troubled world. This is Pastor Bill from St. Luke's United Methodist Church, Harrisville, West Virginia, Ritchie County, West Virginia. I pray that wherever you are, I pray that you're happy, I pray that you're healthy, and I pray that you're safe. Have a great day, everyone, and God bless each and every one of you.